Hi, boys and girls. My name is Miss Gonzalez, and I have a special gift for you. I will be reading you a story, and I brought along my friend Peanut Butter, and he will be joining us to listen to this story called Hansel and Gretel. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, a brother and sister named Hansel and Gretel lived in a little house near the woods. Their father was very poor. Here's their father right here. Their father was very poor and could not feed their family. Their stepmother, an evil woman, convinced the man to abandon the two children. So here's the stepmother, and she didn't want Hansel and Gretel. That evening, Hansel and Gretel heard their father and stepmother talking but did not understand what they were saying. And they didn't know what was about to happen. So here's Hansel, and this is his sister Gretel. And here, behind this window, is his mother and father, stepmother. And they are talking about how to get rid of Hansel and Gretel because the mom doesn't like them. Well, it's their stepmom. The next day, the father told the little ones, "Let's go into the forest to gather some wood." The stepmother gave Hansel a piece of bread for lunch and dinner. So here they go. The children followed their father happily onto the woods, but Hansel, who had always been cautious, that means he's careful. He was a careful boy, dropped breadcrumbs along the way. The breadcrumbs would show them the path home in case anything happened. So here they are, and Hansel took his piece of bread and he's dropping little pieces of bread so he won't forget how to get back home. That's pretty smart. In the woods, the father said, "Wait here, I'm going to gather some wood, then I'll come back for you." And he walked away sadly. He left them alone, and Hansel and Gretel waited for their father to come back. So they're waiting for their dad to come back. Night fell, and Hansel and Gretel became frightened because it got dark. Their father had not returned, and Gretel was very scared by the darkness of the woods. Hansel held his sister tightly to comfort her. "Do not worry, dear sister. I will bring you home. We will follow the breadcrumbs I left along the way." When they reached home, the father was very happy, and he embraced his two children. He gave them a hug because they came back. The stepmom, however, flew into a rage. The stepmom was not happy. She convinced the father to take them back to the woods and leave them there forever. Here's the stepmother. She wasn't happy they came back. Oops. Let's see. The next day, Hansel, who was a shrewd boy, that means he's smart, again, he dropped breadcrumbs along the way. But when it was time to follow the breadcrumbs, he discovered that some birds had eaten them. So then the two children were truly lost in the woods. They got lost because some birds ate the breadcrumbs that Hansel had dropped on the floor. See right here? He's eating the breadcrumbs. Hansel and Gretel walked a while until they came to an entrance to a little cottage. It was made of gingerbread with a roof of biscuits and windows of sugar. Hungry as they were, they decided to have a little taste. So they came to this house that was made of candy and cookies. They want to eat some of it because they're really hungry. Suddenly, an old woman with a kind and caring face appeared at the door and invited the children in. Hansel and Gretel accepted, not knowing that the old woman was in fact an evil witch who would lure children into her home only to eat them. So this witch right here, she's a stranger. She's trying to convince him to go into her house. Let's see the next page. The old witch wasted no time, and she took Hansel and Gretel, looking for them and taking them to a small cage. She sent Gretel into the kitchen and forced her to wash and clean and dust and bake and do all of the housework. The witch, before eating the little boy, wanted to fatten him up and forced Gretel to prepare for him all kinds of dishes. Every day the old witch checked how Hansel was fattening up by pinching his finger. But Hansel, who was quite clever, gave her a chicken bone instead. So the witch yelled, "You're not fat enough. You must eat more." So they're tricking her because she wants him to get big so she could eat him. Here's the witch. And here's Hansel. One day, the old woman, now impatient, decided to get ready to cook the boy. "Gretel, where are you?" she shouted. "Come here now and light up the stove." When the evil witch approached to see if the stove was hot enough, Gretel shoved her in and closed the door after her. The two children were now free of the wicked witch forever. They pushed the witch inside the oven, or the hot stove. The witch had been rich, and the children took possession of her treasures. They gathered gems, coins, and precious stones. Happy, they returned home. The father embraced his children. His dad hugged them when they came home once again and sent the evil stepmother away. And so they lived happily ever after. The end. Here's the witch from this story, and here's Hansel and Gretel eating her house. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for listening to this read aloud, and we'll see you soon. Bye.